Hey folks, Corey with CB Rebuilds here today. On my way to pick up a donor vehicle for a project I've had working in the background for a couple of years. If you can tell, we've got the trailer on back behind. It's empty right now. We're on our way to go pick up a Jeep Cherokee as a donor for our project. With the COVID-19 thing going on, it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of time to try to get this project buttoned up, at least a good start of it. So we'll go snag our donor and start working on the project. So my project here is, it started a couple years ago. I got a wrecked JK two-door frame from a body shop. Somebody had been involved in a collision and the insurance let them buy a new frame. So they bought a whole new frame and swapped everything over for the customer, and the customer got a brand new frame underneath their Jeep, and it was repaired. And I got the frame that was taken out. There was very little damage to it, just a few things with the transmission mount area. So nothing big, because I took that section out of the frame. So I took the frame, lengthened it just a little bit, and I'm trying to put this whole chassis underneath a 1961 Willys truck. So I bought a Willys truck, I don't know, heck, it's probably been 6 years ago now, maybe even longer than that, and I got it running and driving, but it's a 1961 truck. It didn't really suit me for today's standards. So I took the JK frame, stretched it out to match the wheelbase of the Willys truck. I'm not going to do any cab extensions or anything like that, just want to do a repower and have it very reliable. So I stretched the frame out, got some Rubicon takeoff wheels or axles. So they are the Dana 44 front and rear set. The front is empty and the rear is loaded with a spool and I think 410 gear set. I think that's what stock comes with for the Rubicons. And it also has the electronic locker in it. And that worked out really well. I got that as a roller, and then life got in the way a little bit. We ended up moving, we moved probably 3 times since I bought the original Willys truck and started doing this project. So it keeps getting put on the back burner, and then I get it back going, and then we move. Well, right now with the COVID-19 happening, I'm gonna not be moving, and we'll have a little bit more time maybe in the evenings because I'm not traveling as much for work. So after I got the after I got the frame stretched out on the Jeep, I loaded up the axles underneath it. Been buying a lot of takeoffs. It's really easy to buy takeoffs for Jeeps because people are always upgrading suspension. So I've been buying a lot of takeoffs. Bought stock suspension, sway bars, track bars, everything for a JK, and I've got it stretched out, and before I got busy with work, and I got the cab mounted on the frame. So now that I've got the cab mounted and the frame stretched, I'm looking for a powertrain. So my original idea with this Willys truck was to power it with electric. I'd always wanted to do an electric vehicle, and while I was following that path, I started looking up conversion parts for electric vehicles and getting the electric motors mounted and stuff. And one of the things that stood out was the Jeep TJ 5-speed was easily adapted to electric motors. So I decided that I would try to implement that. So I bought myself a 5-speed Jeep transmission out of a vehicle that was rusted out, and the guy wanted a lot for the motor, and I wanted an electric motor, so I wasn't worried about the motor. I just bought the transmission. So I bought the transmission, got it all mounted up, and had that mocked up for my electric motor. But the COVID-19 has showed me a couple things, because I had a little bit more time in the evenings. I did some more research, and the electric motors and batteries and everything it takes to make the electric vehicle feasible, even for a short distance. I was looking for something that could drive down the highway and also be electric, have a range of about 100, 150 miles, and still be able to go down the freeway at 70 miles an hour for short stints. And it was going to be very, very costly. So with that kind of setup, it was going to cost me, I think, around $15,000 for the electronics, the batteries, and everything I need to do that, get it all tucked up and put away, and get all the wiring set up. And that's just not something I want to do anymore. It's a big cost, and where I'm at with my life, I just can't be spending that kind of money on a secondary vehicle that won't see a lot of use. So been doing some more research, and I think I think the 4-liter high output engine, 6-cylinder, will be a good fit. One of the things I need, because I didn't start out with a full vehicle ever, I guess I did with the Willys, but I sold the engine off, and the frame was really bad on that truck anyways, and it rode really, really harsh. So I got rid of most of the original stuff for the Willys, and there's not as much aftermarket support for performance mods on the 6-cylinder Super Hurricane engine. So I'm going to go with the 6-cylinder 4-liter. Should have lots of support, and down the road, if I want to stroke it, I can. If I want to do any kind of mod, and there's still a ton of support, like from parts suppliers. If you need to repair something, it's easy to get parts. So the 4-liter seems to make sense to me. I need a full vehicle. Because I need the computers and all of the wiring that's associated with running the engine. If I was to do a diesel conversion, even with a TDI or something like that, which maybe down the road is where I want to go, you still need to have the ECU. It needs to be tuned. You need to worry about the injectors and getting a turbo that it's sized correctly. And really, there's a lot of parts in that kind of conversion, and it can be done maybe for, I don't know, $5,000-$6,000, even if you use a Mercedes. Mercedes is a little easier. The OM 617, because it's all mechanical. You just need to get the starter and the glow plugs wired up, and then it works. But those are pretty scarce right now. I don't know if people are doing the same thing I'm doing, looking for projects, and they've been pretty hard to find. So, and I found some that are non-turbo, but those don't make enough power for an off-road vehicle or to keep up at modern speeds. I'm going to get this Jeep. It's going to have a full harness. This guy I'm looking to buy it from said it's really, really rusty. That the unibody's compromised from rust, because here in Ohio they use a lot of salt to clear the roads in the winter. So we will check it out and see what it looks like. But I'm hoping to take the engine out and get all of the wiring pared down to just the essentials for the injectors and the crank position sensors and stuff like that. Dash lights to check engine light or anything like that, because I'll probably go with a custom gauge dash setup anyways. But the truck will still have OBD2 capable diagnostics, so if it does start running bad, just plug a code scanner in and read the codes. Obviously the transmission code would be something you just kind of gloss over. But that would be pretty nice for, reliability. You can just go out, and even if you're out somewhere, you go into AutoZone, plug in, and tell them what vehicle it is. If you don't have your code reader with you, you can read the codes and see what's going on. Maybe get a fix real easy at anywhere you're wheeling. So that's my plan right now. I'm on the road as as I said in the intro, and we're gonna go see about getting this Jeep. Alright folks, well that's going to be an end of this episode of CB Rebuilds. I was able to get the engine and the transmission, transfer case, everything out of that Cherokee. I didn't film it. Nobody needs to see another video of a guy taking engines out of Jeeps. But I do have all my fingers, so it was a success. I think what we'll do is we're going to take this engine, put it in the Jeep, and then we'll replace the manual transmission that we use for mock-up with this automatic. We will change the transfer case. The transfer case I have has the slip yoke elimination kit on it. So we will go ahead and use that just to improve the driveline angles, and we don't have any binding. So we'll use that going forward. If you want to catch all those videos for the Jeep truck Resto-Mod, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the little bell so you get the notifications when the videos come out. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.